Today, we are going to dive into one of history's most unbelievable corporate takeovers. Seriously. It's the story of how a small group of ambitious men managed to conquer an entire subcontinent. This is the story of the men who built an empire in India.
I mean, think about that for a second. How does a company, a business that's supposed to be about trade, end up ruling over millions of people? As you're about to see, this was no accident. It was a deliberate, ruthless, and incredibly effective strategy.
The answer is actually pretty simple and incredibly brutal. The British Empire in India was built systematically. It was done through a relentless 80-year-long campaign of constant warfare, led by a succession of governors who all had a single goal: expansion. So let's break down exactly how they did it.
Okay, so our story really starts with Phase 1, securing a solid base of operations. The leaders during this time were called the Governors General of Bengal, and their main job, really, was to take out any local powers that could even think about challenging the company's growing influence.
And this table, wow, it lays it all out with some pretty stark clarity. You see 4 governors here, and every single one of them is tied to at least one major war. This wasn't just random fighting. This was official policy. It kicks off with the very first Governor General, a guy named Warren Hastings. Right from the start of his term in 1773, he is deep in major conflicts. And he's not picking easy fights. He takes on 2 of the biggest players on the whole subcontinent: the powerful Maratha Confederacy and the formidable Kingdom of Mysore. He really set the tone for everything that was about to come. Next up is Lord Cornwallis. And what does he do? He doesn't go off and start a new front. Nope. He just keeps the pressure on, focusing on the company's big rival down south. The Third Anglo-Mysore War was a direct continuation of that strategy. Just keep weakening this key opponent. But when Lord Wellesley arrives on the scene, the whole pace of conquest just hits the accelerator. He launches this devastatingly effective 2-pronged attack, strategically hitting the company's main rivals so they can't team up. He deals a final decisive blow to Mysore, basically taking them off the board for good. And then he immediately pivots and launches another huge war against the Marathas. I mean, in just a few short years, Wellesley completely broke the back of the 2 strongest challengers to British power. And finally, to wrap up this first phase, we get Lord Hastings. He wages the 3rd and final Anglo-Maratha War, and this one just shatters the Maratha Confederacy. By the time he leaves in 1823, all the major regional powers had been crushed, militarily speaking. The foothold was now totally secure, but the ambition was about to get a whole lot bigger. And this shift, you can see it perfectly in a simple change of title. It's no longer Governor General of Bengal. That's a regional title. Now, it's Governor General of India. This wasn't just a name change, you guys. This was a massive declaration of intent. The goal wasn't just about securing a base anymore. It was about total control of the whole subcontinent. Which, of course, brings us to Phase 2, consolidating the empire. With the main rivals now out of the picture, the new objective was simple: fill in the map. Absorb all the remaining independent kingdoms one by one. So here we go again. 3 more governors and a whole new list of targets. The strategy has clearly shifted from just defeating rivals to outright annexation. It's a land grab, pure and simple. The first big move in this new phase comes under Lord Ellenborough. In 1843, the company just straight up annexes the state of Sindh. This signals a really clear, aggressive new policy. They're not just fighting for influence anymore, they're fighting for territory. After Sindh falls, there's really only one major independent power left on the map: the incredibly formidable Sikh Empire in the Punjab region. So under Henry Harding, the company turns its military machine north and kicks off the First Anglo-Sikh War. And the guy who finishes the job? That's Lord Dalhousie. The Second Anglo-Sikh War, from 1848 to 49, ends with the complete annexation of the Punjab. And that was the final major piece of the puzzle. By the time Dalhousie's term ended, the East India Company controlled this vast, unbroken territory stretching across almost the entire subcontinent. So let's just pull back for a second and look at the big picture. What we've just walked through is an 80-year transformation. 80 years, all of it driven by just a handful of men and a very consistent policy of military expansion. This timeline just hammers it home, doesn't it? The sheer relentless pace of it all. In 1773, the first wars begin. By 1799, Mysore's gone. By 1819, the Marathas are defeated. Then come the annexations, Sindh in 43, the Sikh Empire in 49. From start to finish, it is a non-stop march of conquest, ending just 1 year before the Great Rebellion of 1857. The speed and the systematic way this conquest happened laid the foundation for almost 100 years of direct British rule, the Raj, which had these profound consequences for India, economically, socially, politically. And that leaves us with a really critical question to think about. What is the true lasting legacy of an empire that was built not through trade or diplomacy, but almost entirely by war?